Hi, welcome back. Today we are doing conversation number 6.
Yeah, and we wanted to do UFOs, right?
UFOs. What is a UFO?
A UFO, a technical term is unidentified flying object. And this is considered an aerial phenomena of something that can't be identified. That's basically what it is.
Yes. And there's different types of UFOs. It's not just linked to one. There's been a lot of sightings all around the world. There is a UFO reporting system, National UFO Reporting System. I think it's what it's called. Yeah. And people will call in or either write in their sighting. And so the different types of UFOs. So there's the cigar-shaped UFOs. Then there's the
flying
top
saucer.
hat, like the Mexican hat flying saucers. There's been triangle UFOs. So there's different kinds. It's not just one type. So so we just wanted to so recently
the Pentagon released unidentified aircraft, right? Footage, and it's led a lot of people to speculate as to like whether there's aliens or not. And so they released 3 videos, Navy videos of like UFOs, that they've captured, and you can hear some of the videos they're like surprised or they're like in awe, like they kind of want to know what it is.
Yeah, because the maneuvers that these UFOs are doing is something that we are not capable of yet. I mean, there's a possibility that we someday might be able to, but it's such an advanced technology that we have not been able to accomplish.
Yeah, like it's still new, right? Because they like, even in the footage, they fly by so fast that they're just like in awe, because it's like, what is this? Like,
you can hear the guy that's flying the plane. What is it, the Navy?
Yeah, the Navy.
So they're flying the plane and they're capturing the images of the UFOs. And so they came out and said, yes, we've known that there has been UFOs, and there has been a program in the Pentagon that studies these. I don't know if they study them, but they know that they're out there, and they kind of I guess want to get more information or more, and so they kind of do some sort of something with UFOs.
And they so it's basically unidentified aerial objects, right? And a lot of people instinctually put that together with aliens. But I feel like what they're trying to say is that it's just unidentified. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah, they don't know who's behind, like who's in it or behind it, or how it's being controlled. So
it's not necessarily.
So we'll get into our theories.
We'll get into theories. But I guess what they're saying is like they're not necessarily relating it to aliens, and because that's what people tend to do, like right off the bat. But they kind of feel like they have like astrophysicists who kind of try to find like logical or like technical explanations for like the footage, but it's still there and it's real and it's cool,
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about the person that kind of brought a lot of this to light. So his name is Bob Lazar. Mm-hmm. So he's a physicist, and he is also a whistleblower. So He's the one that came out and said, these things are real. Yeah. There has been evidence. I've seen it myself. I've worked on the craft. So Eileen, you want to get into?
So if you even want to know, like what, like there's a documentary on Netflix. It's called Bob Lazar and. UFOs and alien spacecraft, and I recommend. It's pretty interesting to watch. And like Gloria was saying, he's a physicist, and he has 2 degrees, right? He graduated from Caltech and MIT, and so after he graduated from there, he got a job, right?
So after he graduated from MIT, he applied for Los Alamos, which is a nuclear plant, I believe that they they study nuclear weapons, and so I think he was engineering there. After Los Alamos, he then moved to Las Vegas, to where then he, I guess it was something where a friend of his knew of a place that he could work at. So that's how he ended up getting the job at S4.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he was hired at this classified base known as S4 out of Nevada, like out in the Nevada desert, 15 miles from Area 51. And his job was basically involved what he called it propulsion and power source. So his job was basically to find what the...
So what they did is, they brought him in. So he said that he would come in like 2 weeks and then he would have 2 weeks off. So he was on base at all times. His task was to figure out how a spacecraft, a UFO that they found, how it worked, how it was being, I guess,
just how how it functioned, what its power source.
Yeah, where the power source was. And so his job specifically was to figure out how the reactor in the spacecraft worked.
Yeah. And they would call it their job was basically reverse engineering alien spacecraft. And they use the term alien because it's unknown. That's basically kind of what that means, like spacecraft that's unknown.
Yeah.
And what they were doing was like trying to find out, like bring it out and trying to figure out how it works together. Yeah.
So this craft, he had no information of how it was acquired. He didn't know. I guess they tried to give them as least information as they could, to get their job done.
Yeah.
So the thing was, with him, he said that there was a time where all the hangars, because where they worked, there was like a lot of hangars, and I guess you can see through them. And he said that one day he saw at least 9 of them.
Yeah.
They were each, like they had a team that was working on each craft.
Yeah. And
he said that the craft that they were working on was, like one of those the top hat shape ones. But he said that there was different ones, and there was at least 9 of them. So that's But he said that it was like a slight view. Like as soon as he saw it, somebody was like, "Oh, you can't be here."
His focus was on just that specific craft.
Yeah.
And so he said that there was 9, and they were of extraterrestrial origin. And he said that technology was beyond human capability. It was not possible.
He said,
and I feel like he stresses that a lot. That it's just not possible.
Yeah, because he said that there was no wiring on how to start this craft. There was no wiring. There was no energy source. There was nothing that can be of that humans can measure. Like nothing that we can see. He said that it was borderline magical.
Yeah.
The way it turned on, the way it worked.
And, some of his terminology that he uses to explain, his specific craft and how that worked. He said that it had a gravity propulsion system, and its power source was an antimatter reactor, which is kind of not what we're used to, basically,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like that it's totally like insane.
Yeah.
But as far as like the energy, so that was the energy source, and then
so like
okay,
I said,
so he did try to figure out where it came from. Or he said that was he in a briefing?
But I kind of wanted to get into like his particular craft and what he found.
Okay.
So his particular one, he defined it as non-reactive. And he also, in the documentary, he talks about this element that he kind of found there. Like it was a part of like this craft, and this element, it somehow is used to affect gravity in a way that it produces its own gravitational energy, and it manipulates gravity too, and that in turn helps it propel the craft. You know, it kind of like, that's kind of what it runs on. Like it has like kind of like an ability to bend gravity, and that kind of like, that's kind of how it functions with that element. It kind of makes it do that, you know, and that's kind of not something that's you know,
possible.
That's possible.
It's not humanly possible.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Like, okay, so as far as where it comes from, so he said, I think there was an interview that I saw where he said that it was excavated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that it was excavated, that they found it buried somewhere, and that it had been there thousands of years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and in a briefing that he attended, or I think they told him about the briefing, but he said that in the briefing, they said that the spacecraft came from, what is it called? How do you say it? Their Reticulate Star System.
Yeah. Yeah.
So ZR3. And so the ZR3 stands for the third planet in that
trait star system, right?
In that star system. And it's somewhere in the
southern hemisphere
of
a star system. So it's from a completely different solar system. That's
like not from our galaxy area.
That's what he talks about too. That it's like, he's like, it comes from really far away.
But how? See, and that's the crazy thing, because how did they
get a hold of
excavated?
Yeah.
From thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's so fascinating for sure.
Yeah, it is.
The other thing too said that he said that he was invited by one of the other guys that worked there, that they told them, we're gonna try it. I guess they did know how to use the craft, but they just didn't know what source of power or how it worked, right? Yeah. So he said that he went out there, and that him and his, I guess because there was two people that worked on the craft on certain items. So he said that he told his friend, hey, let's go, come with us, we're gonna try it out. Mm-hmm. So he said that they went out, and somebody was already in it, and he said that it was just like, the maneuvers of it was insane. Like, yeah, he said that you couldn't hear it when they turned it on. You couldn't hear it. It was just, you know, like so fast. So
that's what they would do, right? They would test fly, like,
yeah, and it was really swift, and but he said the inside was to where not a normal human being would fit. Like, he said that it had at least 6 seats, and that it was at least like 3 feet for like for a small being, I guess. And so that just goes to tell you that whoever pilots these crafts is a small person or a small creature, a small being, whatever it is. But I thought that was interesting too, you know, because and he said that there's nothing in there, like no steering wheel, no windows, nothing. It's just like a plane. And then the other thing he said was that that he didn't know what it was made of. He said that it almost looked like an in-between of metal and ceramic. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting too.
And then
and it has no source of fuel.
Yeah, and that's the trip, because he's even drawn it out, and it's just like weird, you know, like it has like, he draws like 3 cylinders in the bottom, and that's somehow how it works. But then he also says that the way it's powered and the way it goes to its direction or its destination, it kind of goes belly first.
Oh yeah, I think I heard of that, but I wasn't sure what he was meaning.
So I don't know if that makes it faster or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, it's interesting, you know, because it's not like what you're used to, you know. Definitely. Not like an airplane or like,
it doesn't have wings, helicopter. It doesn't have gas, it doesn't have a steering wheel, like,
and that's the odd thing, that it doesn't run, like you said, on fuel or like air, you know, typical things. For sure.
So, and he said that after he left S4, he knew where the trials, the test sites were, or what time they were held at. So he said that he would get people, friends, families to go out to the mountain and kind of observe the craft. Yeah. And so they would they would just he would have people just check it out, and people would be amazed of how fast these things were, right? And so it's just so fascinating and so interesting, and I wish we could see it. I mean, but you know, a lot of people do see these things. Yeah. So so we're gonna get into what happened with him, so he, after he came out,
in 89, right?
Yeah, did he do an exclusive? I think he did.
Yeah,
I think he did with the news.
Yeah, I think the first one he did, he was kind of under a disguise. He kind of put,
that dark,
they put
like
that
a shadow
effect on you, and he wanted people to refer to him as Dennis, like an alias.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but then shortly after that, I guess he decided to just come out and tell everyone who he was. I guess maybe for more credibility or something. Yeah. So yeah, but he and it became like a worldwide thing, right? Like everybody found out about it and everybody wanted to know, Yeah.
And so once he came out, he had a call from his buddy, the one that he would work with him in the craft. And he called him and he told him, oh, now you're in trouble, now you've done it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I don't know what he meant by that. But so after that, things started happening to him as far as like he couldn't find jobs.
Yeah, but he did get some threats.
From the government?
No, I don't know. I think just like in general.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But they ended up deleting his history, like his work history and his schooling.
Yeah,
like
his schooling.
His degrees.
That's sad, dude. Like really, he went to like prestigious.
Yeah, and he works really hard. And so there was no way back in the day. I mean, not everything was not as computerized as it is now. Yeah. Like it's easier for somebody to be able to do that back then than it is now. So they deleted all his information and everything, so that made him less credible.
Yeah, less credible.
So people would say, oh no, he's just lying or making things up.
Yeah, like how can you prove that he knows all this about like, you know what I mean, science and all
and
this.
So, but actually George Norrie, he's a journalist from Las Vegas. Coast, right? Yeah.
Are you talking about George Knapp?
Oh yeah, George Knapp.
Yeah.
Sorry, George Knapp. There's a lot of Georges, but
yeah.
But George Knapp, he's the one that's the journalist from Las Vegas. He's the one that was able to figure out some of his history. So he ended up finding out that because his Los Alamos job experience was all deleted. So they would call and they would tell him, no, we don't have history of that person ever working here. And so he was able to pull some old phone books that his name appeared on the phone book that he worked there, and newspaper articles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in the newspaper they had pictures of him, and it showed that he was working there. So that kind of proved that he was working there.
Yeah, and it would also discuss his degrees too. He went to school here, and like information. Yeah.
So, and then he also did have. He met up with a friend that he went to school with at MIT.
Yeah.
And so they met up with him and he verified that he was going to school, that, they would pick him up, drop him off. They had classes together. So it's not like he was just showing up.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yeah.
So, yeah. And he's had a lot of like fear, I guess. And he's felt threatened, and he's felt scared to come out. Like, he doesn't like to give interviews.
He doesn't like this whole documentary. They were talking about that he like was barely okay with it,
Yeah, and
he did not want to do it.
Yeah, he has really bad anxiety when it comes to giving any type of interview, and he says that he doesn't benefit from anything. Like, he doesn't receive money. People do try to like give him money, and the money he does receive, he gives it away to like schools.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what he says in the documentary, that his goal is not really to like make money out of things,
or fame.
Yeah,
because he hates fame.
Yeah, and he's like, what would I get out of lying?
Yeah.
And then they've even done like polygraph tests, and they've come out like you know, that he's
like good.
Yeah,
like
been
he's
telling
not
the truth.
He's not lying. Yeah. And so he does, like we said, he doesn't like to do interviews. He does have anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I feel like, for me, I feel like he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because, like, he doesn't
I mean, even if, like, you had no, like educational degrees to prove that he knows this stuff, like, just in the documentary, he's, like, smart, you know what I mean? Like, it's, like, it would be hard to believe that he doesn't have, like, a degree,
yeah, he's
you know?
smart. Like, way before he even started, there's evidence, and people would always see him rolled up in his little Honda that he put a jet engine in. So, I mean, for you to be able to do that, you would have to have some sort of educational background for you to be able, you know, to accomplish a jet engine on a car.
Yeah, seriously.
So, it's interesting, and, you know, he's an interesting character, for sure.
Yeah, and I think maybe he's, I don't know, but, like, he in the documentary, they do talk about him being raided twice. You know, his home being raided by, like...
Yeah, by the FBI. So the FBI is always, you know, behind him and making sure that he doesn't... But, I mean, what is it now? Like, he's already out. He's already told what he could say, and that's it.
And he doesn't want a part of anything, you know? Like, he's kind of done. Like, he just wants to live his life.
And he did say that there has been people that have, like, stalked him, people that have camped outside his house, like... So he said it's been crazy for him, and that's why that's one of the reasons why he doesn't want to give interviews or talk about it any longer, which we understand. Yeah. But I don't know about you guys, but I remember when we were younger, I woke up in the middle of the night. I just want to share this story because, you know, a lot of people have seen UFOs. Like, thousands of people have seen UFOs,
and I feel like they're really common. Right? Like, even now. Yeah.
And so for me, the only thing that I've seen that would, you know,
qualify
relate as a UFO, when we lived in Los Angeles, I remember I woke up late at night. I don't remember why, but I woke up and I looked out the window because we had a window in the front that faced the front of the house, and you know, you can see all the other houses. And so I remember I looked out the window and I saw this orb. It was like this circular orb that was above all the houses. And it looked really big. Yeah. So I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I had a video camera.
Because that was big during the time, right? That video camera, that was big. Yeah. So we're like, hey, let's, like, you know.
Yeah, so I told her and she woke up and she saw it and we were all looking at it, you know.
Yeah.
And so.
And then you were recording it and
I did record it and because back then I used to record everything.
Yeah, that was our thing.
So I recorded it, and then it was weird because it was out there for a long time.
It was.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it wasn't a UFO. Maybe it was something else. But it was still pretty interesting.
Looking back on that footage, you know how it has that timestamp. Like, it was out there for a while.
It was out there for a while, and I recorded it for a long time, even like after. So I recorded the beginning of it and then I recorded after because you could still see something in the sky even way after, like, the light, when it was already becoming daylight.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and then I remember, like, it was, like, really bright. And I remember seeing, like, a helicopter trying to go check it out. And it just, like, beamed in, like, this bright light at it that it just kind of made the helicopter, like, not want to get any closer.
Yeah. It was like, a really weird, thing.
Yeah, but it was interesting to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it was a UFO. It could have been something else, like I said. But that I feel like that would count
as a little UFO experience. Yeah.
So, there's been thousands of sightings of these crafts. So, I feel that...
the main area would be, like, what? Like, Nevada, right? Like,
in Utah, like, Skinwalker Ranch has a lot of UFO sightings. It's almost like the residents there say, oh, it's almost like a, you know, an everyday thing. Like, we see it and it's not a big deal anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the Pentagon came out to say, hey, this is happening. It's real. So that goes for me, that starts to get into the phase of, okay, if there has been evidence that these things are out there.
And they're unidentified.
And
right?
the government knows about it. Does that prove that there is other beings than ourselves?
Yeah, I feel like that's the big question.
Like, could there be extraterrestrial beings that are visiting our planet? Or is it beings that already exist here amongst us?
Interesting, because I was just thinking like maybe they're not from here, you know.
But if Bob Lazars said that the craft came from a star system, then that means that it's out of this world, pretty much.
Yeah, out of our like solar system.
But that's not the only craft. There's a lot more crafts out there. So that I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I mean,
yeah, and how long have they been around too? You know, because like you said, we see like these like ancient paintings, and you see like little like crafts, and it's like how long have
there's paintings. There has been hieroglyphs of people that have discovered ancient art, or ancient drawings on rocks or caves that show that they're looking up at the sky and these crafts are coming down, like the Fatima miracles of Fatima, which we will talk about that as well. But they say they saw a big light, so from the sky. So I feel like it's been around. It could definitely be something that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. The other thing I can think about is, what about the Atlantis?
Yeah.
Like, what if these crafts came from the Atlantis? What if their technology was way more advanced than what we think?
An ancient civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible too. Every time like you say things like that, I just think of like pyramids of Giza. Like, how did that happen? Like stuff like that.
Definitely.
Like, I don't know.
We should get into that one too.
Yeah.
But I mean, this technology is way beyond our comprehension, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like
we haven't reached that level to literally bend gravity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
we can't.
Yeah.
So I think that if Bob Lazar's statement is true about these crafts that he was working on and where they came from, then that just goes to tell you that something brought it here. Something brought it here, and I feel like there's definitely intelligence not from planet Earth that has been visiting us for long periods of time. And I feel like since there's still evidence and there's still people reporting these things, and I feel like they're still here. They still come, and they still, maybe they're like, what do you think they're coming for?
I know, that's what I'm trying to think. Maybe to just I don't know. I mean, obviously they're more advanced than we are. So
to study us?
Yeah, but what are you trying to study, the past? You know what I mean?
But maybe we have technology, or we're capable of things that they're not.
I don't know, man.
What if they come from a planet that doesn't have water?
Oh.
And we're able to swim, and we're able to survive in water.
They're like, wow, look at these humans. They're water resistant.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's true.
We're pretty interesting creatures too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
If there was another type of civilization or another type of being that came and saw what we're capable of, we might be extraordinary to them too.
But do you feel I don't know, because when it comes to aliens, I get that it's something that doesn't look like you, something completely
because
different.
what if they're capable of technology that we're not, right? But what if they're not capable to reproduce like we do?
Interesting.
Right? What if they're not capable of withstanding heat as we can? What if they're not? Because dude, their craft, Bob Lazar said that craft, after they used it, it was still the same temperature. It wouldn't change temperature.
Wow.
So that's
imagine that.
That's
man.
beyond.
I mean, if you think about it, if we had that type of technology and capacity to do something like that and go into another solar system, what would we do if we went out there to
observe other beings?
What are you doing? Oh, how do you do this?
But I mean, I don't know if we would kidnap them.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That goes beyond I'm not. I mean, if we're gonna study you, like, I'm gonna take you from your
that's kind of
natural habitation.
That's taking it too far, right?
Because I mean, like the people that get abducted, by aliens, and they go on these ships, and then they remember under hypnosis that they were being tested on. So, I think we're going on a rant.
I know, right? Like,
but yeah, if you guys have seen any UFOs, if you guys have any ideas on what do you think aliens are coming here for? Yeah. Please let us know, because we definitely want your thoughts.
Yeah, and like how this is possible, like just to get into stuff like that, you know? Like these crafts and all that.
I've always been an alien fan. Like the Storm Area 51 thing. I was totally in. But I mean, if they're evil, then I don't know. I don't think I want to be their friends. Yeah. But what if they are coming to try to be friends?
Then that'd be cool, man, to be friends, you know?
And then they're like 3 feet tall. Come on, people. Come on.
How are you going to communicate with them?
I don't know. Maybe they just communicate with their mind.
Oh, snap. That would be a trip.
I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
But yeah, if you guys have any other suggestions on videos, if you like our video, just like it, subscribe, and comment.
And thank you for watching.
Thank you for coming back and watching our video. And we'll see you on the next conversation.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.